Welcome back to day 21. We're going to talk today about tracking your business, what to track and how to track it. Okay, this is an important topic. And of course, we always start with the assignment from the last lesson, which was to make a list of your affiliates with phone numbers starting at the bottom of each of your teams, counseling with the leader upline to compare notes and coordinate that effort. And then to begin calling 5 affiliates at the bottom of each of your 3 teams to promote everything that you got going on, whether it's events or product promotions or a new rank advancement, team leaders, corporate events, whatever it is. And so I'm going to ask you again, did you do it? And if you did, awesome, way to go, good job. If you didn't, just turn the system off and go do your assignment. Because it's really important that you do these things, not just hear about them. It's important to do them, because if you do them, you're going to get amazing results, and you're also going to get duplicated. And you say, well, my team won't know if I did them or not. Yes, they do. They know, they can tell. Okay. And of course, the objective of our training is day-by-day instruction, one step at a time, to create a habit over 25 days. And again, we always go over the daily dozen, because if you're doing this every day, this is what you either did today or you're going to do today, and you haven't, it reminds you, these are the things to create the habit. Take your core care, your SR Cure, your Nuki Hiva twice a day. And of course, we got some new products coming, so we can add those products, whatever they are, add those products to your daily consumption of the product. Each member of your family should also be on the product, so they can be a testimony as well. There's nothing more powerful than you telling somebody the results that your son or daughter had with a product, or a brother or a sister or a neighbor or whatever, but your immediate family especially. Read 15 minutes in a positive thinking book, or on a blog site, or wherever that is. Make sure you get good quality sources of motivation and training and personal development. Also listen 30 minutes to the same type of material, but it's now audio. Attend any company or team event. Make sure you participate in everything you qualify for, okay? Meet one new person physically every day. Stick your hand out and say hi. Find 5 people on social media that you have something in common with. Number 7, comment on 2 posts on social media. Reach out and say hi to somebody. It's an easy way to reconnect with people that maybe that are your friends on Facebook, but you haven't talked to them in a while, or maybe you haven't never talked to them. You just, somehow you became friends, but they said something, and you can reach out and make a comment. Make sure it's always positive. Text or message 5 friends to congratulate or encourage them. If they're going through something, encourage them, congratulate them. If they've done something's going on, a graduation or whatever it is. Present Zenoa products or business opportunity to a prospect every day. That will result in wealth. Okay, so if you're not prepared for wealth, just skip number 9. If you got a cash accumulation problem and you really are against money and success, then skip number 9. Otherwise, make 9 the one that you most important, and the one that you most likely do every day. Write down, of course I'm kidding, right? Write down the most important task you need to do today. That's important to make sure you do the important things and not just the urgent things. Spend 10 dedicated minutes with each member of your family, so that when you're super successful, you don't have them coming back and say, yeah, but you never went to my soccer game, you never cared about anything, you never talked about anything about your stupid business, blah, blah, blah. Get involved in what's important with them, and just spend 10 dedicated minutes every day with the members of your family. Express gratitude for your blessings. We all have blessings, and if you take them for granted, you won't have them. And so just be glad you got what you got. Even the problems you got, be glad for them too. All right, there's just something about it. So why should we track? Why take the time? Because it takes time. It takes effort to set up a system of tracking and pay attention to it. Now, so why would we do that? Well, first of all, it creates a foundation of accountability, right? Because if you just go through life and you're never accountable to anything, it's just like you set a goal and you never even really track it, or ever compare yourself, or ever have any kind of analysis or reflection on what you did or didn't do, what worked, what didn't work, then, it really didn't benefit you. You didn't get the lessons of whatever you did to get what you got. All right. Even the failures, there are lessons in those failures, and you want to identify those. Okay. So it's going to give you feedback. by tracking things, you're going to find out what works, what doesn't work, what kind of pace you're on, what you need to change. Okay. Because a lot of times, you might say, well, I'm going to show it to 4 people to get 1. Well, maybe you got to show it to 6 to get 1. It'd be good to know that so that you'd know that that's just your number, whatever it is. If your number is 50, it doesn't matter. It just means you just got to increase your efforts to get the results, but you need that feedback. All right. You also want to have the historical records. You want to be able to go back. I'm telling you, I can tell you by just by example, by experience, that I wish I had more information that I kept about the early parts of my business. Because when you become super successful, you don't remember the pain. It's kind of like when you have a baby, I guess. Now, I can't talk, but I've heard this, right? It's funny even saying this, but I've heard that people that go through it say, I'll never do that again. Yet like 6 months later, boom, they're pregnant again. They're all excited, right? Because they forget about the pain. They forget about the labor, like literally forget about the labor. And it's the same in the business. You're going to forget what it was like to be a Zen 1 when you're a Zen 12. You just will. You know, and it's a valuable thing to remember because you're going to constantly be dealing with people that have that situation. You know, I can remember getting to a situation where I just never thought about money. It's just like whatever I wanted to do, I just did it. If I wanted new golf clubs, I just bought new golf clubs. If I wanted to go on a trip, I just bought a ticket and went first class and just went, never even thought about it. That is so unrelatable to the average person. You know, but it was fortunate that in my culture, we always told stories about what it was like when we got started. So I'm really easy. I can click right back into my stories about eating ramen noodles and making the month and the money come out even, and not reading the menus from right to left. You know what I'm talking about? You go down $6.95, $4.95, $2.95. That's what I'm hungry for. Okay. And you make a decision based on that. I don't know, but you got to remember those things. So it's historical. I'd love to see my numbers. It's also leadership. It provides leadership. It shows that you're a leader. Okay. Leaders track things. They can refer to things. They know numbers. They know what it takes from an empirical standpoint because they track. Okay. Also, it gives you vision. All right. You can see the future when you track because you can then extrapolate from the past into the future. And that gives you belief, right? It gives you belief that if I just keep doing what I'm doing, because sometimes you take 2 steps forward and 3 steps back, and then you take 4 steps forward and 2 steps back. And you kind of got to see that track to really have the belief that, in the end, even though I had some times where it pulsed, it went up and then came back, it went up and came back. But in the end, it went up more than it came back. And that gives you vision and gives you belief that this is going to really happen. It also sets an example because what you track is what you get. And when you track things, you talk about tracking things. When you do it, other people do it because you talk about it because you understand the importance of it. So that's why you track, okay? I said it earlier, you will only get the things that you track. If you don't track it, you won't get it, okay? So what do you track? You track your volume, of course. I mean, that's an obvious one. What's your CV? Now, how do you track it? I track my volume every day and all the key leaders in my group. Every day, what's their volume and what's the percent of their volume from their total from last month and what's the comparison to the same number on the same day the month earlier. What's that tell you? Well, that tells you how it's trending, okay? Because different groups have different personalities. Some the volume comes in early, some it comes in late, some it comes in even, all right? But you can know that if you track it. So you track that. You track opportunity presentations, okay? Your group will grow when you grow the number of people in it because people use and move products and sell products. So the more people you have, the more your volume is going to be. And the more times you share the opportunity with other people and bring new people in, enrollment is a key element to this business. Matter of fact, as a consultant in this industry for several decades, I can tell you there's only 2 things that companies look at, enrollments and retention. What's retention? How many people are doing the active volume? With Zeno, it's 150. So your retention is what percentage of your people are doing 150, okay? And we've talked about structure. because structure helps in retention and also helps in enrollments. But enrollments and retention are the things you look at. So how many opportunity presentations are you doing? How many product presentations are you doing? All right. And so this is the tracking that would match up with goal setting, which we talked about on a previous lesson. The number personally enrolled, you want to continue to increase that. Even though you build and structure within 3 teams, it doesn't mean you stop personally enrolling. As a matter of fact, the more you personally enroll, the more your group will personally enroll. They don't do what you did, they do what you do. So continually add new people. How do they know you're doing that? It's easy. When you talk to them, you're constantly talking about this new person you just started, right? It's just natural. If you're starting and getting someone started that you enrolled, it's natural to tell your other people about it. It just comes out. And so continue to track the number of personally enrolls. You're also going to track team volume and the percentage of your total, because you need 3 legs and you need a certain percentage of volume in each of those 3 legs, and you need to track that. All right. You also want to track the level of depth in each of your 3 teams. Now you're probably thinking, wow, you're going too fast. How do you do all this stuff? Don't worry, I got a sheet for you here. Okay. My personality is the C style. And so I like details, and I like to, have it organized and have it visual so that you can like see it and see the progression and step by step, everything just in a line. All right. Got it. Here's what it looks like. Okay. Here's your monthly tracking sheet. And by the way, this is in your back office at this very minute. You can go download this and you can start to fill it in. That's going to be your assignment. But you can see that you can start. And this one happens to be for now. The sheet in the back is generic, so it doesn't have months or dates. But let's say you're going to do this in September. All right. So you're going to track, you're going to set goals, but then you're going to track at the end of the month your personal volume, the number of opportunity presentations you did, the product presentations, how many follow-ups you did. I didn't have that on the list, but you want to track follow-ups, because a lot of times people do a presentation and never get back to the people. Oh my God, you might as well not even show it to them. All right, the follow-up is the key. Don't be afraid of a no. Go try to get a no. You can even challenge people, just kid around. They're your friends. Just say, listen, George, I showed you this the other day. I want to find out what's your interest level on a scale of 1 to 10. Where are you at? Are you at 10? You ready to go? You a 0? You're not interested at all, or something in between? What number are you at? Silence. Wait for an answer. Okay, and then deal with the answer. If they say, it's really not for me, then take your next approach, which is, hey, George, I can appreciate that. I understand where you're coming from. I felt the same way when I got started, but I thought, what if it worked? Now, you might not think that, but George, whenever anybody sees this, they always think of a couple people off the top of their head. They say, not for me, but these people, they'd probably be interested. Who are those people that you were thinking of? And then get a referral and move on. But follow-up's really important. Number personally enrolled, we just talked about. Team volume. And this one's got team 1. So you got your total team volume that you're tracking, but then you're also tracking the volume in each of your 3 teams and what's the percentage of that volume versus your total volume. Because in our compensation plan, you can count up to 60% in your first team and you need 10% in your third team. Now there are different ranks, it varies, but in general, those are the kind of numbers that you're going to be needing to track. All right. You also are going to want to track depth. And I have team 1 depth, team 2 depth, and team 3 depth, and that's slash, and that's a delta. If you're a math nut like me, delta means the change. How did that change from 1 month to the next, and then your commission? So it actually might look like this. All right. Let's just say your personal volume was 150. You did 9 presentations of the business opportunity, 6 product presentations. You did 7 follow-ups. You personally enroll 2 people. You have 2 people. Actually, my numbers are wrong because I actually show 3 down below. But imagine that's a 3. Your team volume, let's say it's 750 CV. You have 300 in the first leg, 150 in the second leg, 150 in the third leg, and you personally did 150. So that adds up to 750. And if you did the percentages, 300 is 40% of 750. And then your second team is 20% of your volume, and your third team is 20%. And then your depth shows that you're 2 deep in your first team, 1 deep in your second team, 1 deep in your third team. And because the last month it was 0, your increase or your delta is 2-1-1. Now that comes into play because we promote the 3-2-1 pattern, that if you build your team every month and you go 3 deeper in one team, 2 deeper in another, and 1 deeper in another, you're going to have massive growth and income in your business. And then your commission check, you want to track your commission check. So in this case, maybe the check was $43.85. How fun will that be when your check is $20,000 a month to look back and say, month 1, I made $43.85. Would you ever want to show that to somebody, that you're getting started after they just got out of your Mercedes, or they just, they were just over at your house and they saw what a beautiful lifestyle that you have, and they're thinking you were born in this house. You were born with that car. They don't remember. They don't ever see you as somebody that made $43.85. Okay. I have checks, actually, copies of checks. Back in the old days, they used to literally make these things out called checks, and they would slip them in the mail, and it would take 2 or 3 days in the snail mail to get to you, and you'd get them, you'd open up and you'd look at them and they'd have a number on them. Then you'd take them to the bank. They'd have to drive to the bank, and then you fill out these slips and you go to the teller and you deposit it. That was back in the days, where they invented like sand and stuff like that. You know what I'm talking about, right? They had telephones on poles. You could walk up to a pole and talk on a phone. It was weird. Okay. But so anyway, I'm kidding, of course, but that's about tracking, guys. You got to track your business. It's really important that you start some good habits. It's a great habit to be a tracker. All right. So again, why are you doing this? Why are you going to do all that? Why are you going to fill out all this paperwork and do all that stuff and become a professional at your business? Because you have a dream, because there's something that you're chasing that you can't get. I want to remind you that you're doing this because you can't get what this business can give you doing what you're doing. Okay. Now, maybe materially, okay, because some of you go, oh no, I can. All right. I make a lot of money doing what I'm doing. Probably the majority of not so, but some of you, all right. But can you help somebody else get your dream or get the lifestyle that they want and get their dream? And the chances are no. Okay. I had people in this industry I've worked with for years, multi-millionaires. You know why they were in? Because they couldn't help anybody else have the lifestyle that they have. And because they love people and they want to help people have what they have, not just admire what they have and have them give them something. They wanted to, instead of giving them a fish, they were going to teach them to fish. That's what we do. So remind yourself that what you're doing is right. And it's necessary. There are people out there in need, and you got an answer, and you don't want to sit on it. Okay. Now, today's assignment is to download the tracking sheet in the back office and fill it in for last month, and then send it to whoever you're counseling with. All right. Get with someone and compare notes and say, here's where I'm at. And then, begin, maybe put it in a folder, print it out and put it in a folder, or maybe you put it in your OneNote file or whatever it is that you use for your filing system. But, have it so that you can look at it and work with it on a daily basis. I bring up my monthly tracking sheet on my Excel spreadsheet, and I go through my tree and I put in all the numbers, and it automatically calculates the percentages and compares it to the sheet before. All right. And so that's just my system that I use, but you want to have a system. So your assignment, there it is, download the tracking sheet, fill it in, and then send it to somebody that you counsel with. Remember, the affiliate that shares it most wins. All right, gang, we're almost done with our 25 days. Hopefully you're getting this, and by now you're excited and things are going, and you're really chomping at the bit, and you got some other people that are going through these days with you. Maybe they're a few days behind you, or a week or 2 weeks behind you, but they're coming through this stuff, and you're starting to get really excited because it's starting to duplicate. So we'll see you tomorrow.